Hello there. Um, had to mute my computer just to make sure. Uh, how's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's having a reasonable evening. Uh, hello, Red Angel. And I saw Cheap Astro in the chat and Joe V. Hello. Um, oh hey, yoo-hoo. Hi, Cheap Astro. Um, so I'm not the M45 Pleiades and the moon. What specifically are you wondering about? I mean, the Pleiades are, oops, sometimes this gets stuck. The Pleiades are more, I don't know if they're visible yet. Um, actually, let's go. If it is, it would be early in the morning. Let me see. M45. Well, I have a terrible sky here, so hold on. Let me sorry, bring up the time window, which of course, okay. And let me change it to no horizon, bring back the Pleiades. Is it visible in the morning yet? Oh, I need to zoom out. So yeah, it would be early in the morning. It would be visible. Is it going to be? Is the moon going to be near it? In the morning. So this is tomorrow morning. Let me change the configuration to have the. Oh no, not this configuration. I always do that. It's the other. This one. Let me change to just a plain landscape. Okay. So there's the Pleiades and the moon, at least tomorrow. Maybe was it this morning? Actually, a couple days ago, it went right by the Pleiades, or maybe it went over the Pleiades. Yeah, but not, yeah, maybe not, maybe in somewhere on Earth it went by. Did not, oh, did it actually go over it? Yeah, it actually went right by the Pleiades on the 29th, which would have been Monday at 1700 my time. So I guess it would have been visible somewhere else on Earth, not here. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, look at that. It would have been, yeah, the moon would have been in the morning, I think. So whoever had Monday morning, or not Monday morning, it would have been, what time would it have been? It would have been close to midnight UTC Monday night. Is that right? Monday to going into Tuesday. Yeah, the moon went right by the Pleiades. That's cool. I guess I didn't necessarily know that because maybe I saw it, but it wasn't visible in at least my part of North America. But that's pretty cool. Which actually brings up an interesting segue. So I have the two telescopes running already because there was a target that kind of gets obstructed around 10 in another 20 minutes at my time. So I already had started imaging um, through the automation scheduler thing. So I kicked that off. So that's why I'm looking at Stellarium now because I've got a little bit of time left on that exposure. Um, oh yeah, and that was a thing I think I didn't have working last time. I got the one of the telescopes running where we can see what it's looking at using the iPad app on my Mac. But speaking of kind of things in the sky near other things in the sky, in 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, there's going to be Mars and Jupiter are going to be really close to each other in the morning sky. So if we go, and this field of view is the Seestar's field of view, so it's a fairly tight field of view, but you can see on the 12th and then the 13th they're even closer, and then I think the closest will be around the 14th. Yeah. So somewhere in there. I mean, they're going to be close to each other for a few days. Like they'll be steadily getting close to each other, and this is in the morning sky that they're visible. So after around 2:30 in the morning, I think is when Jupiter and Mars rise, and so probably about an hour before sunrise would probably be the best time to see it because they'll be higher in the sky. But that'll be probably the best conjunction visible in North America this year. It's not as close as the Jupiter-Saturn one that was in 2020, December 2020, but it'll be pretty cool. Like I say, this is the field of view of the Seestar, so you can see, if you pointed at Jupiter that morning, Mars will be really close within the field of view. So much so that you can see that that the moons of Jupiter that Mars won't be much further than the moons of Jupiter are from Jupiter. So that'll be pretty cool. But that Pleiades moon would have been pretty cool to see, but unfortunately it wouldn't have been visible where I am. Actually, yeah, hopefully it will be clear skies. But the good thing is it's like plus or minus a day will still be not too bad, because this is like my time, the evening of, well, it wouldn't be visible in the evening. So let me go to like 5 in the morning on the 14th. So you can see they're pretty close, but even like the day after, the 15th, they're still really close. And even the 16th. So they'll still be within the Seestar's field of view for like a few days. They'll be close enough. So something to keep an eye out for on the 14th. Yeah. Yeah, that would be really cool. And you mentioned the Pleiades and the moon. I want to see, maybe there's a photo of it. Let me look, since that was a few days ago, a couple days ago. Let me bring this up. Okay. 5 moon conjunction. Close approach. See if there's any. See, I don't think this is a real. I don't think that's a real photo. Because the problem is, well, let's see what the scale looks like. So go back I'm going by months, a few days back. That would have been really cool. Yeah, let me, okay, oops, go ground, no. Oh yeah, because since the Pleiades, see, it's showing atmospheric dimming, uh, or kind of dimming based on the fact the moon is right next to the Pleiades. It would have kind of, um, it would have been hard to get an exposure of both, but I mean, this is not like, um, but yeah. Uh, see, I think some of these are not photos. Like people have taken artistic liberties with it. Kind of like the my favorite one was from the solar eclipse, where people were posting photos of a totally eclipsed sun with a crescent moon near it, and it's unclear how that would work, considering the moon was the thing doing the eclipsing. Anyway, but because the moon looks, where'd my cursor go? Okay, the moon would be pretty big relative to the Pleiades, so I'm not seeing. I'm sure someone was able to do maybe an HDR exposure, but it would have been really hard. Yeah, yeah. I forget how many moons. I don't know. I lost count. It's hard to say. um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Must be. It's and multiple suns too. I'm sure. Like what was it, Tatooine or whatever. Uh, yeah, that's kind of cool. That was really cool. It would have been nice to see it, but like I say, it wouldn't have been visible here. Um, Speaking of visible, here's the camera, the live view. So supposedly these are both pointing at the same object, but yeah. Um, what else was there? The let me go look at. Yeah, so the looking so it'll be interesting, the Mars Jupiter conjunction in a few days. Um, what else was it? I was so distracted by the conjunction. That's pretty cool. Let me go back to the settings I had, which are the current location, the current time, and go turn back on the my backyard horizon. And so let's zoom out so I can see my lovely horizon where I can hardly see anything at all. But yeah. Yeah, so this, like I say, I had started an exposure the before the stream started because I wanted to try to get as much time imaging as I could. So you can see here, this is just the logs on the Seestar. Actually, I was going to go pull up the this is, I was looking at this the other day where you can look at the live kind of as it's updating the drive, and I don't remember which one of these is it. It must be this one. Trying to, actually I might go to this one. Unfortunately, I'm not running the latest version. The version that I actually have up is running on my Raspberry Pi again. Well, it's sitting down here, and I burned the image on the Raspberry Pi. I haven't updated it yet. I need to. So the 13th and 14th, I guess, is the Mars Jupiter conjunction. Let's see. This. Oh, it's still thinking. Yeah, I haven't actually. I wonder if I can pull up Saturn. I'm not sure where Saturn is. I think it's in the morning sky. Let me see. Saturn. Actually, yeah, it would. It looks like it'll rise. Yeah, it'll rise soon, actually. I mean, you can't. This E represents the horizon line, but you can't see it because I have this horizon that matches my my local horizon. But it looks like just after 10 p.m. Local time, 10:15, it'll rise. Saturn will rise. So it'll be in the evening sky. I mean, after probably around midnight, it's probably high enough in the sky, or maybe even sooner to be able to observe it. But yeah, let me see. Since I am running the live what do you call it? The live Seestar code on the Raspberry Pi, I should be able to grab the latest code and without breaking anything. So we'll see. Let's try this out. Got to. I'm bringing up the bright shell off screen. Oh, I don't think I have. No. Hold on a second. I have to kind of go through a convoluted step to grab the latest, which I'm doing off screen because it's not that exciting. Basically, I have a repo, a GitHub source repository that I use, and then there's the main repo, but unfortunately there's kind of an in-between one. Or no, actually, anyway, I haven't merged back the latest changes into my my fork of the repo. So let me do that real quick. Update. And we'll see what happens, because it shouldn't. Let me see. Okay, great. I was able to pull the latest. What I'm kind of curious about is what happens when you point two different controllers, two different Seestar apps at the same Seestars. I mean, if I don't do any commands, I wouldn't think it would mess up anything, but we will find out. Oh, darn it, I have debugging on. That's just it's too chatty. Hold on, let me fix that. Yeah, it's for my own purposes. I have like really a lot of information. So let's do this. Okay. So it's able to connect. So let me pull up. This is the very latest. It's a later version than what I'm running. This is the version I'm running on the Raspberry Pi. So we will see what it looks like. Now, since the scheduler is running on the other instance, I mean, I'm not going to do anything with this instance because I'm afraid it might mess up things. But if we go to settings, oh yeah, nice. So if we look at the existing settings page, this is fresh hot off the press. So this is what the originally, I mean, and this, I was helping somebody before the stream that I know get up and running with the Seestar ALP and the web interface on his Windows computer, and and it was interesting because he had a version from like 2 weeks ago initially, because that was the latest executable, and then the person who's managing the executables created a new version uh, yesterday or today, this morning, and it's like completely different, or not completely different, but it like has this new screen, the settings screen, and so that like it's a brand new screen and it's already been improved on the latest iteration. So initially it just had kind of these controls, and that was like the first pass, but now it's got enable, disable, enable, disable. That's great. Great. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. One setting I have turned on mine is save discrete frames, which I really like that feature. You can go see in the when you look at all the subframes, you can see like these are normal ones. Oh, this is not gonna be happy with me. I might as well just kind of ignore that for a bit. But yeah, it's really handy because sometimes the subframes might fail for, sometimes it fails for valid technical reasons, like the stars were trailing because the telescope had some issue, or was windy, gust of wind, and it caused things to get kind of um, blurred. But other times it might just be like a seeing issue, not so much a technical. Um, yeah, yeah, it's yeah, that's cool. I mean, it is a huge. I mean, it's again, it's undergoing rapid change, but that's cool. I'll have to update my Raspberry Pi image, which I still haven't put out where others can download it. I kind of promised that I would, but maybe tomorrow I'll do that, and I'll build it with the latest version of the code. So if people want to run the latest and greatest on their Raspberry Pi, they just have to download the image and burn it onto a SD card, and they're good to go. Um, yeah, that's great. And I believe, let me look at the other one. So this is the one that I scheduled stuff on, and it's still running, so that's good. um, One thing I also had been working on. Oh, right. So no. This is, I mean, it's not people, not everybody, not everybody cares per se about how it's done, but the end result is nice. And so what Jovi's referring to, for those who are watching this didn't who aren't on the developer Discord channel, um, basically someone contributed code that and Jovi is integrating it. I think that's how it all went down, because I was in and out of the chat. But basically, on, I'm not sure which screen it is, but there's some new code that will be integrated soon that will show you the sunrise and sunset times and the twilight times, which is really handy if you're wanting to do like the scheduling where you want to wait until a certain time. Like you want to start your schedule, and but you don't want to start it while it's still kind of while it's still twilight. And you can look it up, but the calculations are relatively easy. And so we were it was decided that it would be handy just to put it right on the screen. Someone suggested it. It's like, let's just have it on the screen, so when you're entering your schedule, you can say, oh, hey, where I am, the sun sets at 8 p.m. and by 8:45 it's astronomical twilight, and so I can start my schedule after 8:45 and I should be good to go. So that's pretty cool, and I think that'll be a great addition. It's a very good bang for buck kind of thing, where it on, technically it's not, it's not as complicated as you might think, but I mean, obviously it requires programming ability, but like once you get it in there, it adds a lot of value. It's like very high impact. So that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that personally, because I mean, it's been getting, uh, I mean, we're past the beginning of summer. So it's been starting to get darker earlier, the sun setting earlier than it had been just a few weeks ago, and which actually has helped on my live streams, because I was going live at 9:30 my time, and the sun, like, it was kind of pushing it where the sun, it had gotten dark enough. It was just barely getting dark enough for me to even do anything with the telescopes when I was starting the live stream. Whereas now it actually gets dark enough around, not like half an hour before the stream, or just after that, maybe 9:15, that I can actually start doing the calibration. Like I can actually point the Seestars at some targets and go through that and do the autofocus and everything. And so I can kind of have things in a better state. Now, as the sun sets earlier and earlier, I probably will start moving the stream earlier accordingly, because I mean, I don't want to necessarily start the stream like 2 hours after sunset. I figured it would, I might as well take advantage of starting it a little earlier, especially for people who might be on the East Coast, or maybe even in Europe, who might want to tune in and don't and aren't up into the middle of the night. But yeah, no, this is I'm looking forward to the new updates. So one other thing I've been working on. Let me see if this is still running. Oh no, it looks like it finished. It must have just finished. Did it just finish? Oh no, this is my local version. Let me look. This is the version that so it stopped 3 minutes ago. Okay, great. So did both of them stop? Because I started them around the same time, so you can see this one stopped and this one stopped. So within a few seconds of each other. So great, I can move into um it's yeah. I wasn't naming it. That's why I was trying to be clear that, for people in Europe who want to join the stream and aren't up at 4 a.m. It was funny. There was a really late live stream I had. It went till like 3 in the morning, I think, my time. And so in the UK, it was 9 in the morning, and someone it was funny, because like I could see the subscriber count kind of, I mean, the people on the stream had kind of like gone down a bit, but then it started going back up because some people in Europe were starting to tune in. And some people commented, oh hey, good morning, you're still going. It's like, yeah, I'm still going. But yeah, so I'm gonna do that in a moment. I'm gonna start off some more things, but one thing I'd been running, which I haven't seen this yet, so you'll get to see it with me. Basically, I have been um, doing some experiments with. Let me back up. So I have that. I had showed last time this website I was creating, where I was trying to put a catalog of all the objects I'd taken photos of with my Seestar, or Seestars, and I was kind of behind on them. So I decided a couple days ago that I need to just start kind of going through them. And I also have some mosaics that I hadn't processed, and some other things. So on the mosaic front, is this still running? I shouldn't have done that. But on the mosaic front, oh yeah, no. Unfortunately, I can't show what I was wanting to show, but basically, there's different ways of processing mosaics. Sometimes what people with the Seestar software, or with this software, it will take photos of a series of panels in a series of panels. So if you say, like I'll show you in the interface, if you go specify a mosaic, you enter the center of the mosaic, and you have the number of panels, the width and the height, how many panels, like a 3x3 or 2x2, and you can say how much the panels should overlap. And the software uniquely names each panel it puts the images in separate in separate folders. So you have, you're photographing NGC 7000, and it'll have NGC 7000 underscore 11, 12, 13, 31, 32. I mean 212. Anyway, so you get the idea where it basically kind of has the coordinates of each panel, and all the frames from that specific panel are in one directory. So what people do, or what most people have been doing, is they process a specific folder. So you kind of do your stacking and for each folder. And then, so here's an example of NGC 7000. So I called it 3x3 just so I knew. And it named them 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23, 31, 32, 33. And oh man, that's a bummer. Started a mosaic and got 1 hour of one panel before the clouds. Yeah. So one thing I've been doing, because, well, part of it because I've got such terrible skies, as far as the horizon goes. I mean, they're terrible for light pollution, but they're also terrible from an obstruction point of view. What I end up doing is, because I want to get through a bunch of panels, the panels are only like 10 minutes each. So that way, yeah. So I'll schedule like this. I ran last night, and it was 9 panels, but I ran it for an hour and a half. So each panel was like 10 minutes. And what I'll do is I'll just do it over multiple nights. Now, so yeah. So what people will do is they'll process each panel separately, and then use software like it's ASTAP, or ASTAP. It's astrometric stacking program. So this program will take the panels, each kind of stacked panel, and it'll combine them, kind of match up. It has a map of the stars, a stellar map, and so it knows it can take the panels in any order, and it can figure out where they belong, even if there's gaps. It'll figure it out because it knows where those stars should be in the sky. Well, in Serial, there is you can process when you're stacking. By default, it will figure out all the frames, and it will generate a semi-minimal box to get all the frames, to get the stack. But there's also a maximum one where it will, a maximum one where let me show. Let me illustrate this. Let me see. Okay. So I had actually created a video about this like a few months ago. Add. And skip. So this was a video I created where basically I did a time lapse of the stacking process. It was actually kind of complicated because uh, the stack wasn't stretched, so I ended up creating a script that just did a ton of stacks. Um, so you can see how, uh, but this was done in serial, not the video itself, but each of these stacks was done. Each frame is a separate of the video is a separate kind of processed stack. And what I did is I used this maximum flag where it basically does what you see there. It'll just kind of keep. It'll look at all the frames and figure out the maximum image size where you can fit all of the frames. Now it has to be able to align the frames. So if you have big gaps, it'll end up rejecting a bunch of frames. So as an experiment with one of my uh, mosaics, I went ahead and I was like, well, let me just try feeding it all the frames from all the panels and just say, stack this and see what happens. And it actually, I mean, I haven't done any processing with this. This was kind of like a screenshot of the histogram stretch in serial, but it was actually able to match up quite a bit of it. I mean, you can tell like it's not the full mosaic, but it was able to actually match up a lot of that. And there wasn't much data, which is why it's like super noisy, but it was kind of an experiment. So I think I'm going to try it again with some more mosaics where I'm just going to feed the whole lot of images to serial. Now, the reason I mention this is I had taken the single target that I've taken the most photos of is M42. It's visible, I guess, in the morning now, very early. But back in the fall, winter, early spring, I did a bunch of sessions of M42. So I had this idea of like, well, let me just try to feed it all the frames that I had taken of M42 and see what happens. And the problem, because of the way it does the alignment, it ends up using a lot of space. And I think it ended up using a 250 gig of storage. And it took several hours. It took 3 hours to run. I had kind of left it running, and it finished after the stream had started, but it took 3 hours. So let me see what happens. Let's see if this is terrible or what. Let me see. Oops, I maximized it or I tried to maximize it and it went off screen. So let's see if this is junk or what is it doing? Sometimes the serial interface isn't happy with and I don't know if it's because it's like the framework they're using for it. I don't know, but okay, let's look at the stretch here. And again, this is done with kind of that maximal thing, that maximal framing. Oh, that's interesting. So one thing I was hoping I had done, I when I was taking some of these frames, and the reason I decided to try this is I didn't have the Mosaic software, but I had kind of been manually adjusting some of the photos to try to get more of is it M43, this area? And so it was able to figure that out and stack it all together. So, I mean, there's some passive gradients and stuff. This is just like the histogram stretch, but this, I think if I kind of rotate it and do a proper stretch on it, it might actually be, actually, let me just try that. Let me try doing just a real quick, I'm not going to do the Astro Barbecue script, but I'm just going to try doing a histogram stretch. And then, yeah, and then remove green. I should have done photometric color calibration, but I don't know if that would actually work. Oh, never mind. This clearly needs some different processing, but yeah, it actually was able to kind of um, do something sensible with all those frames. So yeah, I need to do some deeper processing of that. But then I actually might kind of do what I had hoped it would do, where I can kind of get a big chunk of Orion in one photo. Because otherwise, um, I don't know if I have any examples, but otherwise you don't get that much of Orion in one photo. So yeah, that was an experiment, but boy, it took a while, 3 hours to stack like 2,400 images, 2,400 frames. But let's go to, well, let me look at chat here in a sec. I need to go look at some targets or figure out what targets I'm going to image now. But let me look at the chat here. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Like you just feeding it a whole bunch of frames, it's actually able to um, yeah, that's interesting. So you had 60-second subs and 30-second. So I'm guessing you did yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, Cyril, it seems pretty. I mean, it so long as it can do the match of the star match, and like I personally have tweaked the scripts to kind of relax the matching where it'll align on just 5 stars. Mostly because I have usually have poor transparency and here, but let me go ahead and clear the schedule out. And I had taken some notes, so let me go look at my handy dandy notes here and see what I was thinking of imaging. Let me take a sip of let me see. I was thinking of doing more time on NGC 7000, the North American Nebula, but let me look at the time. M6. There were some targets that ended up failing. Let me look. So I had, let me look at this off camera, as it were. Oops. Okay. Astrophotos. Yeah, I had just started kind of massively putting everything I had taken photos of, and I hadn't stacked all of them, but I've just done the stacking and Graxpert processing of some of them, but I haven't done the final process yet. I was just trying to get through a bunch. M3, I think I skipped. There was one here, I think M8 and M9 and M10 and M11. I think some of those were questionable. No, oh no, it's because that one I'd already processed. That one, was it? Oh, M10. This one's messed up. It's off center. So I need to try M10 if I can. I don't know if it's visible, if it's unobstructed, but I will check that because I think I only imaged it once and it's like massively offset. I think I might have forgotten to check the J2000 coordinates. This one's okay. I'm just seeing if there were other ones that were kind of duds. No, that M28's because I had already processed that. I realized after I stacked it that I'd processed it. Now how many frames were on this one? Only 21 frames. What is M24? Is that a M24? is what? Messier. We should add that. We should add object lookup in here. Oh, small Sagittarius cloud. That's why. I was it's low in my sky and the results weren't good, so I'm not going to try that one again. At least not now. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it some if I have some really exceptional night. Okay, so M10. Because while I was going through this, I was trying to figure out what I want to revisit. What's M48? No, that's okay. I guess I skipped over because I was spending so much time on that M42. No, I haven't gotten to all these. I was starting kind of lower numbers and working my way up. So let's do M10, or let's look up M10 to see if it is even visible. M10. Okay. Oh, barely. Oh no, this isn't even in the current time. It's because I paused time. So M10 isn't quite visible yet, but no. Sorry. Sometimes the autocomplete, I type M and it auto-completed M103, which is not what I wanted. M10. M10 is visible. So maybe I'll start with that. I'll start with M10. And let me see what other Messier objects might be visible. I really like this screen in Stellarium, where this one here, astronomical calculations, where you can pick Messier catalog or interacting galaxies, interstellar matter. Okay. But that's kind of a cool thing. Kind of makes it easy if you're trying to figure out what Messier objects to go after. Unfortunately, I don't have all the ones I don't have memorized, but M56, do I have M56? That feels like one, like I've tried to image as many of the globular clusters as possible. M56, yeah, I've got M56. Cooling tower. I'm not going to bother with this, so I'm just going to go for M10. And what else do I want to image? Maybe I'll do the Eagle Nebula. That looks like that. I could use some more time on that one. So on the one telescope, I will do M10. I'll do M16, maybe for half an hour. I'll do M10 for 10 minutes. And what other ones? I've gotten a lot of these other ones. I've got M9. Let me see what other, maybe I go ahead and try to do that Sagittarius star cloud again. So that's M24. Do I want to do that? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that on another telescope because I can. So I'll do M10 and then I'll do M24. Okay, and I'll do M24 first. And which one is this? Just again, I'm just focusing on Messier objects, just trying to get those. But I think then I don't think I'm just going to keep doing that. So maybe I will go look at North American Nebula, since I need more time on that. Actually, yeah, that's perfect. I'll do that one. And I did that for an hour and a half last night. I'm going to do that for a 3x3 mosaic. I'm going to do that for an hour and a half. Then I get 10 minutes per panel, which isn't a ton, but I figure it's better than nothing. And if I do it over multiple nights, hopefully I'll get enough. And supposedly tomorrow is going to be good too, tomorrow night. So I might be able to get even more data, which would get me up to about half an hour or maybe 40 minutes per frame. Because I think I did it on both telescopes last night. So yeah, I'll do that. M39, I did that one. Let's see what else I might want to do. Maybe I'll do Pelican, or I don't know. I think I'll just do Crescent Nebula on the one, which is NGC 6888. I'll do that on the 6888. Okay, I'm good. This is enough to start off with. I don't plan out my whole evening, just because the seeing is so bad, or not seeing, the obstructions are so bad. So on this one, we will start with, I need another monitor on here. On this one, I'm going to start with M10. Let me move this and hopefully it doesn't cause any issues. Okay, M10. And I really like how it just autofills. And I will do that for 10 minutes. I already did an autofocus, so I'll do that. And then I will do M16 on, and I will do that for half an hour. And I want to use the light pollution filter because that's a nebula. And just double checking that this all looks sensible. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start this schedule. And we can see it's working. So I'm now going to switch to the other scope and go, what did I say? I was going to do M24 first for 10 minutes. And 10 minutes, and that, what is M24? A small Sagittarius star cloud. Yeah, I'll do that without the light pollution filter. So I submit that, and then I'm going to do a mosaic of north. Oh, I kicked off that other one and I forgot to add the Crescent Nebula. That's okay. So I'm going to do NGC 7000, and I'm going to suffix it after I did the lookup. I'm going to do 3x3 so I can tell. And 3 panels, panel overlap 50%. Total session time. There's an issue to make this more user-friendly, not having to specify raw seconds. Do 80, and I want the light pollution filter. So let's see that looks sensible. Yep. Overlap 50, yep. And so I'll just go ahead and start that. And so now it should be, so that is going. And we can confirm, we should be able to confirm that it's going somewhere. I really want to get a more of a live, a real-time view, but it still is kind of cool watching it, even if it's only one update every 15 seconds or so. And And the thermal camera is completely gratuitous, and it was only because I had the part sitting around. Um, but what was interesting was that last night there was this kind of very wispy cloud that was kind of hard to see, but it actually showed up pretty well on the thermal camera, which was interesting. Um, oh, that's interesting. We're pointing two different directions. uh, so let's look at the status. It is plate solving. And again, I don't understand the differences between the two telescopes. Um, like, I have the two of them sitting next to each other on similar tripods. I mean, they're both Skywatcher tripods, but they're not, I mean, they're different models, but very, very similar height. And the leveling is similar. And when I do horizontal calibration, when it does horizontal calibration, I had them both point at the same star before the stream started. And this one failed, this one succeeded. And it always happens that way, like right off the bat. And I don't understand. I don't understand. But what was interesting, it still was able to take a photo of the target. It's just the horizontal calibration failed. But then the next target, it succeeded. So I don't know. It's very odd. Very, very odd. Yeah. I don't get it sometimes. Oh, I don't know if it's still in effect. There was, they had a sale on the Seestar. I don't know if that means they're coming out with a new model or if it's just, yeah, it's still in effect. $450. So if you want to, I think I have a link, an affiliate link in the description. If you for directly from Seestar or through High Point Scientific. So if you want to, if you want to pick up another one or want to pick up your first one, it's on sale now. So if you use the link, I might get a commission at no cost to you. That's my spiel. Anyway, but yeah, I was actually debating getting a third one because I know the person who wrote the API for this controller, Kai, I believe he has 3, and there's someone else on the Discord that has 3 as well. So I just need to be better about being able to schedule them. So one thing I did do last night, and actually I did that for that one target this morning, that I had started just before the live stream. I went ahead and created a CSV. Well, I set it up on one of the scopes. I exported it and I actually renamed it so I can use it on subsequent nights. And then I cleared it out and I imported it into both of them, into both telescopes. So I think going forward, I'm probably going to start doing that more and more, where I, instead of trying to do what I'm doing right now, where I have different targets and I have to figure out if a given target is visible or not, I might just start imaging from both of them for shorter periods of time because of all the obstructions I have. Then I can get through more targets, but I'll have to combine it between the two scopes. Like in the case of the target I was shooting this evening before the stream, and then like the North American Nebula, where sometimes I can only go for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and plus there's like massive field rotation, so I'm trying to minimize that because of all the stacking artifacts it might get. And so by maybe doing it shorter time per panel, but on 2 or maybe even 3 telescopes, I can acquire the same amount of data with, or maybe better quality data. We'll see. But I was debating getting another one. But if you want to get one, an additional one, they're on sale now. They have been for like a week or so, a week or two, I think. And I thought it would end at the end of the month, but it's at the end of July, but it's still going. So yeah, because I mean the fact I can't get in as tight on certain targets doesn't bother me as, I mean neither one really bothers me, but I think I would prefer to be able to go wider than to go um, more punched in, zoomed in, whatever. And so, but the mosaic mode fixes, I mean, it mitigates that. So really having 2 or 3 of them, it gives me options. Of course, then I have to balance that against updating some of my other rigs. I just recently on Prime Day, they had, there's this SV Boney dual band filter that is pretty well reviewed. It's similar to the L Extreme, but it's cheaper, and it was on sale during Prime Day, and so I picked up one. A 2-inch filter. It was like just over $100. It wasn't that expensive. It's normally I think like 170 or something. I don't know, but I need to. Yeah. So I saw this video where someone had gotten a harmonic drive, but they'd gotten it from AliExpress, I think. And so I'm kind of tempted to, it's intriguing because it was a lot cheaper than the ZWO or other brands. Let me pull that up. Let me find that. It's on the Discord server, which, speaking of Discord, this channel, I have a Discord server. There's a link in, I don't know if it's in the description, but it's on the channel information if you want to join it. It's there's a few of us on there somewhat regularly. Speaking of which, somebody just joined the server 5 minutes ago. So hello. For whoever just joined. What was I? Let me look. Oh yeah, here it is. So I'm not going to play the audio, but I'll include the link in the description. But he, Astropharma, he has, he got this, it looks kind of like the ZWO in many ways, but it was like a little over $1,000, but yeah, $1,000. He had like an issue with his version of it, but not everybody has issues with it. So I'm kind of intrigued by it because for $1,000, and it has very similar specs to like the AM5 mount. So again, do I get another Seestar or do I save my pennies and get like this or upgrade my my Astro camera? Yeah, that I'm super intrigued by that, honestly. I shared that on my 1,200 already. That's too bad. But I'm intrigued by it. I mean, it's still a lot cheaper than the AM5. So I'm and I think he said that like sometimes they have, was it on this video where he was saying sometimes they have like coupons or something where you can get it for, so even if it's 1,200 you might be able to get it for like 1,100 or something. But it's definitely intriguing because like the AM5 is isn't it like two grand? Yeah, just 2 grand. Yeah, 2 grand. And as you can see, it's like very similar looking. So yeah, and it's got this one has very similar specs too. So as far as like the cargo, I mean the amount of weight it can handle and also the tracking specs are very close. So I'm like super intrigued by this. Let me I always forget to do this, but I added the video in the chat cuz yeah, I really intrigued by this. That's neat. So that's another possibility if I don't get the second, if I don't get a third Seestar, maybe maybe I'll end up kind of upgrading my other, like one of my other rigs, and then I can still have like 3 telescopes going, the 2 Seestars and then like a different rig. Because depending on which camera I end up getting, like this refractor I have has a bit. It's more telephoto than it's is it like a 400 millimeter? I think it's a 400 millimeter, whereas the Seestar's 250 millimeter focal length. But I was looking at maybe getting a bigger sensor, so it would actually end up having a bigger field of view. So I could potentially do the North American Nebula without doing a mosaic. So I'm kind of debating doing that. But we'll see. But either way, I want to be able to live stream that one as well. So, and one thing I haven't done yet that I would like to do, maybe if it's clear next week, maybe I'll try it next week. But I want to do a daytime live stream with the Seestar and my hydrogen alpha telescope, because I think that might be kind of cool. I don't know, but what is the space weather like? Has it been active? Because it's more interesting. Well, it still could be cool. So I might do that. I might do that next week. Oh, there was a coronal mass ejection. Could spark a geomagnetic storm, but it's not like it's not like what happened a few weeks or months ago. Yeah, I mean it is near the solar maximum, so maybe I'll do it over the weekend. Let me see what the skies look like here. I mean, and because again of the bad the obstructions in my backyard, it would be pretty much middle of the day here, so it would probably be around probably between 10 or 11 my time through maybe 1 or 2 p.m. my time. So it really would have to be in the middle of the day, which would be like possibly around 6 p.m. UTC or 1800 UTC, but we'll see. Actually, Saturday looks like it could be clear in the middle of the day. Maybe I'll do it Saturday, because I was planning on doing an evening stream tomorrow night, because it looks like the seeing will be above average, which is good. So maybe I'll go ahead and do a solar live stream on Saturday. Might do that. That would be cool. Because I've been meaning to do that. I have all the pieces together. I just need to, and I just need to set it up. Although actually, there is one problem. I have to figure out how the Seestar I can live stream up to here. The Seestar I can live stream up to here, but I have the other telescope might be a problem, because the way I've been running it is I actually was sitting downstairs with the solar telescope plugged into my laptop, and maybe I'll just do that. Instead of live streaming from here, I might live stream from downstairs. Well, I can test it out tomorrow during the day. and I'll figure it out. But yeah, I think I want to do that. I think I want to do a live stream, solar live stream, mix it up a bit. But that would be cool. Um, but yeah, it would be the solar live. No, actually, it's a different scope. Oh gosh. No, I was like, I have the solar telescope, but then I have another telescope, but I'm not going to be using that one. So it would be the solar telescope and the Seestar. Yeah, that would be cool. But, and I'd be able to use I'd be able to use this, the all sky camera, because, I mean, I've run it during the day, so it would just be kind of looking up and you'd see the sun, kind of a little point in the sky. And so I might do that on Saturday. Yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah. Um, what else? What else? Let's see how the schedule is going. There it is. And it is Seestar B is still running. Seestar A is running. Let me see. Yeah, at some point we definitely need to add some kind of feedback on the web page, because I end up looking at the logs to try to figure out what it's working on. So it is on. So the NGC one has started. M16. Yeah. Yeah, so M16 is in process, and and so once M16 finishes, then I'll start the Crescent Nebula. I had meant to add it to the same schedule, but I forgot. I was getting so excited I wanted to get things running, get things rolling, but um what else? What have we got here? Yeah. So yeah, it's I am okay. Oh, and this I'll put a link to this too if anybody especially if you're watching it now or watching it later, you can look at this time lapse I did. A step. Oh, this was something interesting. I showed this last time. I've another ad. One thing I had thought about doing is getting. I showed this last live stream, but I've thought about picking up one of these, a kind of a. It uses the Bader filter, so this looks kind of cool. But I was looking at this video again, another ad. Let me look at that. It was I had just looked at this video, but I mean I saw this video, but I hadn't actually watched it. This is pretty cool. This is the extremely large telescope that they're building in Chile. That is amazing. I mean, look at how big that thing is. I mean, how big the dome is. It's crazy. Wow. That is a massive telescope. That is really cool. When is it supposed to? 2028, first light. That is cool. How big is that thing? I mean, it showed up earlier today on my feed, and I was like, oh, I should take a look at that, especially when I'm waiting for things to image. Extremely large telescope. What? 39 meter? 130 feet? What? What? am I reading this right? 139 meters? That is, I mean, it's a segmented mirror, but still, that is crazy. That is crazy. Um, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. Yeah, I just had to mute things temporarily. Okay, but I'm back. But yeah, that is insane. Like, that is amazing. How much is that thing going to cost? I can't even imagine how much that. It's going to take 11 years to build. That is massive. A billion euros. That is a massive telescope. Wow. Wow. Yeah, but yeah, I saw this and I was like, that is amazing. The ELT, the extremely large telescope. That is just, that is like, I'm trying to figure out if there's, if, are there any people just for scale? Oh, they like, oh yeah, there's a person down there. Yeah, there's actually two people walking down there. Those little specks. That is that is amazing. Oh yeah, look, here's a car. That's a car. That little thing. That's just unreal. That's amazing. I mean, it. There are some really neat telescopes out there. I mean, the professional ones are just amazing. I mean, you get things like the James Webb in space, and now and things like this on Earth. It's just, I just, yeah. I have no words. um, Although it'll be really cool to see what this thing can do. That is just amazing. Anyway, oh, speaking of observing, I was uh, I was on some Discord server and people were talking about kind of the different Bortle scales, and I was trying to figure out, how bad things were here, because like it's Bortle 9 here, and so it's imprecise, but here's the approximate naked eye limiting magnitude, and supposedly you can see past seventh magnitude in Bortle 1. But where I am in Bortle 9, it's like fourth magnitude, which might be optimistic. And so I was trying to figure out, well, how do you actually know how many stars you can see? And so I found where uh, this is the number of stars, and I think this is the complete number of stars in the entire celestial sphere. So you would only see half of these. Um, Bortle 4. I would love to have Bortle 4. Bortle 4 would be amazing for me. It was one of the conversations in this on this Discord server is someone, they had mentioned that they had never actually seen the Milky Way naked eye. Because they live in the city, and in a city, and I was thinking back to when I was younger, when I first got into astronomy. I I don't think I'd actually ever seen the Milky Way until I went to like a Bortle 4 kind of dark site that the local astronomy club had. And yeah, so Bortle 9 supposedly is fourth magnitude, which would mean you could potentially see a few hundred stars in the entire celestial sphere. But realistically, it would probably be only like 300 or 400 at a time. Whereas if you're at Bortle 1, you can see maybe 77,000 stars. So yeah, like 100 times as many stars. So yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, man, yeah. So like Bortle 4 would be sixth magnitude, which would, yeah, like 10 times as many stars as I can see. It would be, yeah, at least 10 times as many stars. Um, but yeah, I had said on the forum that, or I mean, in this Discord server, that the first time I went to, I mean, Bortle 4 was really awesome because it was like the first time I really saw the Milky Way, like very vividly. But then I went to, I'd been to a Bortle 1, but like the moon was up or there were other things. But I ended up going there once when it was, or I remember the first time I went there when it was actually like a good dark night. And it was so disorienting to me because there were so many stars visible that I couldn't recognize anything. Like I couldn't recognize constellations or anything. Um, so that is a good point. Would you swap it for your cloud cover? And the other thing that you have to deal with that I don't, even if it wasn't cloudy, um, your summer nights are challenging from a observing point of view. Whereas for me, I get, you know, I mean, the sun set at like 8:30, and so by 9:30, it was the end of astronomical twilight, and you know, so we get several hours of observing every night potentially. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've I was in northern Scotland right around the summer solstice, and it was I remember seeing like pink kind of clouds that were catching, you know, some like they were slightly pink. The sky was pretty dark, but you could see some pink clouds at like midnight, 1 in the morning or something. I'm like, does it ever get dark here in the summer? Um, I mean, like I say, it was northern Scotland. It was like Inverness or something, so it was pretty far north. But still, it's we don't have that. We don't have the long winter nights, but we also don't have short summer nights. It's more even throughout the year. Not completely even, obviously, but it's definitely more even. Um, Sorry, I was checking on on something. I was afraid this. I have a computer off to the side. I was afraid it had shut down, but it hadn't. Uh, but yeah, yeah, trade offs. Bortle 4 would be nice, but yeah, if it's cloudy, it doesn't do you any good. um, but uh, yeah, I mean the desert or the dark sky where it was like Bortle 1, that could just be amazing to have that all the time. But like I say, it was the first time I went to it. I was out there. It was very disorienting because couldn't recognize any constellations, and like I couldn't find most bright stars. And this was, I mean, this was many years ago. It was before we had like apps and stuff for the night sky. I was having to do it by like star chart, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to start, you know, because like I couldn't get my bearings. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, for me, I can do probably 8 hours. I could probably run a telescope for like 8 hours, um, 8 or 9 hours in the summer without, cause like right now, um, like when does the sun, what are the sunrise sunset times? Uh, like the sun sets at six, at, sorry, 8:13 and rises at 6:42. So, um, yeah, it's if you figure maybe 5:40, so almost 6 hours in the after midnight, and plus another two, yeah, 8 hours, a good solid 8 hours. Yeah, yeah, 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, yeah. Now in the winter, it's a different story for you, but yeah, for us, it's like I say, it's and Wiley Sight, who's often on the stream, he's similar. He's in a little further north than me, but we're both in Texas, and so it's I mean, yeah, especially compared to Europe, like my latitude here is almost the same. It's actually about 30 miles or 50 miles further south than Cairo, central Cairo. So that shows you what kind of latitude I'm at. Um, yeah. I think it's one of those things where a lot of Europeans don't realize how far south the U.S. is, and a lot of Americans don't realize how far north a lot of Europe is. Um, uh, comparatively, because like I say, I mean, it's our latitude is like isn't even anywhere in Europe. It's in northern Africa is our latitude in Houston, and Houston, it's pretty far south in the US, but you can go further south. Like a lot of Florida is farther south than us. A big chunk of Texas, kind of, or the bottom third of Texas is further south than us. So not quite down to the tropics, but it's pretty far south. Um, but yeah, which is why I was really bummed when there were those really extraordinary aurora, uh, because it was visible in some parts of Texas, and I think there were some people near where I am where it was visible, but it was cloudy that day here. Because I think because I'm near the coast, it was cloudy, but there were some areas where they got to see it, and that's like unheard of to for it to be that far south. Um, uh, yeah, like into the 2020s latitude wise, like 20 degrees, 29 degrees latitude. Like that's unheard of. And I missed it. Oh well. Um, let's see how we're doing here. Now this one would have been total 40 minutes. No? No, 15. I did 15 that. Sorry. So 45 minutes for that. So let me look at the logs. If somebody else doesn't get to it, I might just for my own sanity, I might add the feature where in the web app, in the web interface where it shows which item is running, because I end up having to kind of fish it out of the logs. So it's on the 3.1 panel for NGC 7000. The North American Nebula. When did the other scope start? Because it might be When did it start the, is it on M16 now? Yeah, M16. So M16 started, yeah, actually almost half an hour ago. So that will be finishing before too long. And then I'll schedule the Crescent Nebula on this one because let me just double check that it's still visible. Yeah. Of course it's still visible because it's not that far from North American Nebula. I don't know why I had to look that up. The Foxhead Cluster, hole in a cluster. These names. Yeah, so let me see. Let me see. Yeah, so I'll go back to the logs. So yeah, this should be finishing soon ish. Maybe in as soon as a couple of minutes, maybe a little longer. And then the North American Nebula is going to continue for another 50 minutes or so, I think. I might not keep the stream going for the entire North American Nebula, but I might. We'll see. But how long do I want to do the Crescent Nebula? Let me see if there's other items on my list. Let's see. What other things can I go? Image. I don't want to necessarily do a mosaic after the Crescent Nebula. I think I'm leaning towards maybe doing half an hour on the Crescent Nebula. Let me move this and hopefully not cause too much noise. This mic is kind of sensitive to being jostled. Let's see. I don't think I can do the veil justice without doing a mosaic, so I'm not going to do that. Let me switch to the switch to this other view because sometimes that is helpful because I can kind of like that other view. I can't always tell what areas I might be interested in seeing. The only problem is the scrolling is a little slow at times. Elephant's Trunk, I just didn't have good luck with that. I think I did some of this Cassiopeia salt and pepper cluster. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I'll do that because I get the Cassiopeia, but I also get the Bubble Nebula. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that after the Crescent. So that is NGC. So I'm going to do the Crescent for half an hour. And then I will do NGC 7635 also for half an hour. Because I want to get, I've done some imaging on the Bubble Nebula, but I want to do more. I want to do more on that one. So let's see what else is, just in case there's anything else here I'm missing. What is that? No? Okay, so what is the Widow's Web cluster? What is this over here? The question mark. See, this is one where I think like a slightly wider field would produce better results. Oh wait, what's this? We already have, oh, starburst. I tried to image this one. It wasn't, either my skies aren't dark enough or just I didn't get nearly enough time on it. It sounded like it might be interesting, but oh, and it's tiny. That's the other problem. Like sometimes you see some target and you're like, oh, that sounds cool. And then it's like really tiny. What is this one? Actually, this looks interesting. Oh, Pac-Man already. Wow. I've taken a lot of images of the Pac-Man Nebula. Like I was doing it in the fall, I think. Oh, that's cool. So that's starting to get rotate back into view. Do I want to do the Pac-Man Nebula instead of the bubble? I'm almost tempted to do Pac-Man instead. But let's see. What's this target? NGC 147. Actually, so let me check. Yep, we finished. So that is M16. Yeah, see, that's tiny. And unfortunately, what do you call it? Andromeda is not it's obstructed for me right now, so can't do that. Tempted. Do I do Pac-Man? I might do Pac-Man. Let me see if I oh, and this again, I paused time, and so okay, so it is more visible. It is higher in the sky. So that is good. Which one is this one? That's the Starburst galaxy again. So I'm not going to do bubble. I'm going to do instead IC 1590 Pac-Man. Pac-Man. Not Pac-Man. Unless I find another one. Oh, yeah, look, see, there's Andromeda. But see, it's this, what do you call it? This horizon line, this kind of sky, isn't necessarily accurate. It's could be a little bit off. Let me see, when is it visible? So after midnight right now, it'll finally kind of get into a bigger clearing, because that's really high on my list of targets to go after in mosaic mode. So actually, let me look at astrospheric. Oh, see, look. Tomorrow night, above average seeing after midnight. I might go for it tomorrow night. I might go ahead and do an Andromeda mosaic. Maybe I'll end up doing one of those really long live streams. Maybe I will. I think I will. So I'm going to make a note on that for tomorrow night. Tomorrow, M31 after midnight. Okay. Great. Great. Okay, let's look at the here and now. What are all these galaxies here? 10th magnitude, 9th. Okay. I think I'll stick with Pac-Man for now. So let me look at this. Yeah, I definitely think, is this the bubble up there? Oh no, that's question mark. Again, the names. Oh, baby nebula? Baby nebula. Also known as the Soul Nebula. Maybe I will image that tomorrow evening. I'll put that on the list. The Baby Nebula. I see 1848 after midnight, maybe tomorrow. And then there's the Fish and the Heart Nebula, also known as the Running Dog Nebula. Yeah, I want to do this one tomorrow. I will totally do this one tomorrow, I think. So let me make a note of that one. I see 1805 Heart Nebula. Cool. And here's a quasar. Now, that's not much of a redshift. I'm not a quasar snob. Fuzzy butterfly cluster. All right. Just kind of scanning this area to see if there's anything else. The dormouse cluster, because it had been so rainy for so long. There's a whole bunch of targets that are now kind of visible earlier in the evening that I hadn't really imaged. So I'm just kind of scoping out some of that, especially because we might have another clear night or two. Yeah, okay. So I've got something to go off of. So let us go back to the scheduler and let me see. Schedule commands. Okay, just verifying that I'm using the right one. Clear. And no mosaics on any of these. So I am going to do NGC 6888. Put one too many eights in there. And I will do half an hour. And I will use the light pollution filter. And then I am going to do, and hopefully it won't be obstructed. I think it'll be okay. I'll do IC 1590. Yeah, okay. Half an hour, use light pollution filter. And I think that is all I'm going to do on that scope tonight. So just make sure this all makes sense and go. And okay, this is running. Let me go back and yeah, so I can do kind of a, I still get a kick out of that. I don't know why. It's the little things, very little things in some cases. But yeah, so this is going. I think the other scope will be going for about 45 more minutes. Yeah. Yeah, one little quirk is the thermal thing only updates once a minute, whereas the optical image updates every 15 seconds or so. So plate solve succeeded. And what else? What next? So that is, what is the elevation on that? The crescent. Because I hadn't checked to see what it's, what's the, okay, 70 degrees. Because I was like looking at this and it seems to be pointing pretty high in the sky. But that's, I mean, it was able to go to it, so it's not too high, but I just wanted to double check that it's not too, because since the Seestar can only go up to like 85, and even then a lot of times I feel like it gets more tracking errors once it's that high, or not tracking and stacking errors. But yeah, what else? So that is going. And let's see what else we have here. So that is, it is cool because like these exposures are long enough, even though this is just a Raspberry Pi camera. I mean, they're not, it's a Raspberry Pi HQ camera, so, but it's nice that at least even in my light polluted sky, you can see some stars on the all sky camera. But yeah, extremely large telescope. How many stars can you observe? I have multiple astrospherics running. Let me close that out. I do need to, I've been updating this. I need to update it some more. The astronomical calendar. I was going in. I had when in here when you I had talked about this on a previous live stream. When you click on like M13, like I ended up coding this up. I mean, it is and isn't more complicated than it seems, but I coded it up where it shows which objects are on the photo. Um, I mean, it's all kind of static, like I did it ahead of time. Um, but I've been updating kind of the database that I used for generating some of this information. So maybe actually I will go ahead and update that while I'm here. So let me see. Basically, I had hand generated a lot of this information. So what would be a good one that doesn't have much detail? I mean, I don't have that many objects on here. So M3, yeah, M3, no, because I haven't fully kind of, but one, anyway, M16, I don't have most of these things on here, but anyway, basically I had been hand filling out a lot of this information, which is kind of tedious. But I wrote a script that kind of generates some of the information, and one of the things it does is I need to remove that line, but basically it I some of the objects I have distances in, I hand generated it, but now I have a program that queries Simbad again, the same thing that that is used here to do the object lookup, where you type in the target name and hit this button and it'll show you the coordinates. It'll get the coordinates. It's looking that up in a public database. So I basically wrote a script that does the same thing, and it'll get like I call it aliases, but basically the other names that a given target is known for, because like M3 is also known as NGC 5272, stuff like that. So I was kind of going through and updating that, and then I'm gonna, as part of that, what I was showing with all the images, including the M42 I had redone, I'm going to process all of the Messier objects I've imaged thus far and put them on the website. So this was part of getting that done. Again, I could have used something like Astrobin, but I decided to roll my own. Updated targets. Let me see. So if I go to M3, yeah, okay. Let me go look, see if this actually goes through. Because basically it's code. I updated it, and then it sent it to GitHub, and then it deploys the website if it works. And it's running, creating an optimized build. It usually takes about a minute, and it's already over half done. So right now it doesn't tell me the distance to M3, but if this works, it's always the waiting. Always waiting. Okay. And is it deployed? It's deployed. So let me hit reload. Nope. Did I not have a distance for M3? Let me see. M3. Oh. Yeah, that was silly. I didn't let me see if Lagoon has a distance now. Does it not have a distance? Maybe I entered it wrong. Anyway, theoretically it should show the distance, which is 4.1 thousand light years, which that's awkward phrasing. Anyway, but yeah, that was something I was working on earlier, just trying to automate some of that because I want to try to get a few hundred targets out there, and I don't want to have to hand enter all of it and look up stuff. So the next time I show this, hopefully on stream, hopefully it'll there'll be a lot more to it. Let's see. So this is now going on to the 2-2, another panel on the North American Nebula. So that's good. Actually, I forgot. I can actually look at. I actually have a view into this Seestar. So you can see that it's on this panel. And it's got 2 minutes in. So let me look at. That is. Let me see. NGC, it's the 2-2 panel. And so I should be able to see the subframes here. But again, the Wi-Fi is abysmal. Abysmal. Just plain not good. And plus I had some other issues, like just before the stream, where something I had done last night wasn't. I didn't live stream last night, but I was doing the same thing from up here that I'm doing now, but it wasn't working or the thing I did last night wasn't working today, and so like this view was much faster yesterday, but of course for the live stream it has to not be fast. The reason I'm bringing up this directory is to see the all the subframes, including the failed frames, to see how bad it's doing. $52 degrees. 52 degrees. What specifically 52 degrees? My brain, yeah, I'm not. It takes so long to load this. It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Yeah, and if you're watching this and you haven't liked the video, please feel free to. Because I know there are people who watch this afterwards. 13 or 14. I feel like there's a conversation that I'm missing, and I don't know. Okay, so this finished, and of course it's got to have a think about it. And I really have to fix this because this is it would be so much faster. Okay, yeah. So here you can see. Uh, oh, so where is the moon? Actually, like this. At least where I am right now, uh, my live view, it actually says it's 33 degrees below the horizon. So it's not going to rise for a bit, at least where I am, which is good, because then I'm able to image targets, like I'm not having to deal with the moon, which has been another rare thing. Like I would have clear skies. Um, yeah, so M45, that was in the morning. It was in the morning sky. I mean, it is visible in the morning sky. I think it was like after 2 in the morning or something like that. Or maybe not that late, but it was a morning sky thing. Um, yeah, so like looking at this, you can see all the failed frames, which is interesting because like I'll look at some of these frames. Let me pick one that just failed. Yeah, let me pick this one. And again, it takes a while. I'm going to preview it and see if I can, if I'll wait. Takes a while. Oh yeah, yeah. It's well below the horizon for me. So it'll rise. Yeah, a little after 1:30. It'll rise. 1:30 in the morning. The Pleiades M45. Yeah, so like this is one of the rejected frames, and or one of the failed frames, and I'm not clear why this failed. Like, sure, they're a little oblong, but a lot of them are oblong. Is that why it failed? It's, was it like, did it cross a threshold? Because if I look at one that didn't fail, let me look at one that didn't fail. And again, we wait. Yeah, so this is taking a while. But yeah, it's because I'll look at some of my. I mean, I know there's people who've said they. Let me look. Like these aren't perfectly. Like they're a little oblong. Some of these, but yet some of these are failing. It's so strange. Okay, so it's moved on to another frame or another panel. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know why it's failing. But the good thing is, since I with this web interface, you can turn on the what do you call it, you can turn on the ability to save the failed frames, and then if you load them all up into a program like Serial, it can make the decision if the frame's good enough. So I am kind of baffled on why it is rejecting some of these frames, but I will try processing all of them since I now have the ability to. Since it's unfortunate because like the app doesn't it lets you save all the successful frames or the frames it thought was successful, but it doesn't expose the ability to save the failed frames, the ones that it doesn't put into the stack. But the app the app does. So you can see save discrete OK frames or save discrete frames. By default, this is off. And save discrete OK frames is a setting that you can set in the Seestar app. But dare I try that? Yeah, it's in the app. If you go into advanced, where save each frame in enhancing, I have that turned on. That's what this that's what save OK frames does. But being able to save all the failed frames isn't it isn't an option in the app. So it's nice to be able to set that. Also, the dither setting, which is isn't something that they let you change, and you can do record stabilization. Manual exposure, user defined dew heater. I mean, some of these are offered. The auto power on off. Yeah, that's an option. I usually have that turned off because, especially if I have a dew shield on it, I don't want it to power off when it's running low on power. So let me see, light pollution filter. Yeah. But yeah, it is nice to. Oh, and then this is the other thing, stacking exposure length. So the app, here's something that if you haven't downloaded this Seestar ALP app, it's kind of cool because like you go into the Seestar app and it lets you pick 10, 20, or 30-second exposures. But it's just a number. It's not like it'll take arbitrary numbers within reason. And so some people have tried, like 60-second exposures, or I think somebody was able to get a 70-second exposure before it started acting weird. But that's kind of cool. Kind of gives you more flexibility. Okay, yeah, it's really late for you, cheap Astro. But thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I really do. Have a good night. I'm probably actually gonna. It's not nearly as late here, but I get up maybe not intentionally early, but I kind of end up getting woken up early. So there's no sleeping in for me, unfortunately. Well, it's not really sleeping in. There's no matter when I go to bed, I end up getting woken up in the morning. So if I want to have some sleep, I end up having to go to bed at a somewhat somewhat sensible hour. But tomorrow night I might end up doing a long live stream, like a really late one, because I want to try to do a mosaic of M31, and since that isn't really visible from my backyard until after midnight, and the skies will be good, probably like the seeing should be really good. I might just go ahead and go till like 2 or 3 in the morning. So yeah, that's the current plan. So it's neat being able to like some of these settings, like the dithering, and being able to change some of that is kind of cool. Let me check something here. I'm trying to I've got I have got my Discord up and running, and I was just checking to make sure that I hadn't missed anything on Discord. I wonder if I should try. Oh, yeah, you were in Bortle 4. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. It's I don't have that. Don't have Skies That Dark here, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, let's see how this is going. How is it going? Um, Stargazing. I wonder if I could do that. I'm checking something in a different window. What do you call it? What is today? Today is August 1st. All right. Oh, okay. So that took a little bit of time to update, but we're 6 minutes into that panel, and I only gave 10 minutes per panel, so this one probably has a little bit more time, and then I think it's going to be going on to the last panel. So I think it'll be done within the next 15 minutes or so, the North American Nebula. And I might wrap it up at that point once that one's done. Now, how much, because I think the Crescent Nebula started at actually, the Crescent Nebula will probably be finishing in a few minutes, and then it's going to go on to the Pac-Man Nebula. So that will be, actually, let me make note of, I got to make some notes, or I am going to totally forget this. Because there's been a few times where I'll say something on stream, and I'm like, I need to not forget this. And if I don't write it, I end up rewatching my stream the next day to try to figure out what I said I was going to do. And okay, Bortle 5 to 6. Yeah. I mean, like where I am, yeah, it's just 9. It's about as bad as you can get. I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, but I was looking at like there's a astronomy YouTuber Queeve who is in Tokyo, and I was kind of looking at different parts of Tokyo, the sky brightness, and his wasn't actually any worse than mine, which is kind of what surprised me. Maybe we're just really bad with light pollution in the US. I don't know, but I expected it to be worse since Tokyo is so much larger than Houston. Oh, did that? What just finished? Okay. Oh, no, I was wrong. I thought, I don't know what order this is doing, but it's going on to another panel for the North American Nebula. So let me make a note here. What was I going to do? See, now I already forgot what I was going to... Oh. I was... some idea I had for trying to improve the network here. Let me see. Yeah, because I had started like looking at something here where I was trying to figure out if I could possibly do improve the network for tomorrow. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. See, I was thinking, oh no. I would, so I was I'm going through things in my head that I'm like, I can, if I did do the live stream from up here, I had two problems with the Seestar I can control remotely, but the solar telescope, I was like, I can't control the mount remotely. But then I remembered, oh, I actually use this uh, sun tracking mount, so I don't actually need to control it. I just need to make sure I have it pointing at the sun, and it'll just track the sun. Um, but the problem is, the ultimate problem is being able to get the video out of the solar telescope, the hydrogen alpha telescope I have, and being able to get that up here because I have I've been just directly plugging it into the computer. So I need to figure that out, how I can get that ZWO camera. If I can possibly see, I don't think I can do that because I would want to use the Mac software, so I probably will have to stream from downstairs. Yeah. But for the night streams, I mean for the evening streams, I want to do something different tomorrow. I'll have to look at that later. No, let me look at it right now. Because it's just, yeah, anyway, it's frustrating. Very frustrating. Yeah. Yeah, I won't be able to do, I had this idea of something I was going to try for tomorrow evening, but I can't get the thing in time from Amazon that I was going to try something kind of cheap to try to make the network better. What else? Let's check. But yeah, we're kind of wait, what is it? Okay, yeah, so it's moving on to IC 1590, and this is telescope A, and it's working. Let me look at what the let me look at the live view. So, oops. It should be this one. Is this the one? Yeah, it's this one that should be pointing. And hopefully it'll start saying plate solving. Okay. Oh, darn it. Plate solving failed. The only question I had is I wasn't 100% sure if that target really was high enough for me to be able to image it. It might not be. In which case, maybe I'll go back to the bubble nebula after all. Oh, plate solving succeeded. Maybe it's just the tracking was a little, I mean, the targeting was a little off. What was it? Yeah, it claims it claims it was what do you call it? It claims it is going, so that's good. That is great. Now, what else was I going to do for tomorrow? Tomorrow's stream. I really need to figure out how to get this faster, the network faster. Yeah. I think Cheap Astro went to bed. Red Angel. What was I gonna do? Dang it. Dang it. I'm just I had a thought about something for tomorrow. Now it escapes me. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. Um, oh, that's what I was gonna do. It was something I want to try to do with the software for the scheduler. Um, Something I want to maybe try to do tomorrow. Uh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at the live view. Okay. So it now says plate solving, plate solve succeeded. So that means it is running successfully. So it is able to image the Pac-Man Nebula. So that's good. We're going. We're imaging. We're getting stuff done. And meanwhile, let me look at this one. Yeah, this one's coming along nicely. I mean, I've been capturing multiple panels across multiple nights, but you can definitely see even with this stack here, you can see kind of the wisp of nebulosity, and then there's some kind of overall red stuff, but you can definitely see it right here. Um, so I just need to get a lot more data and then process it all in. I'll probably do it. I'll probably try it two different ways. I'm going to try it just throwing it all into Cyril and let it try to figure it out. But then I'll also do the panel by panel stacking and then put that in that that ast- astrom, astrometry stacking software. Um, so that is good. So this is on 1.3. How many more panels does it have? It is on 1.3. Does that mean it has two more panels? It did 1.3, it did 3.2, it did 2.2, it did uh it did 2.2 and um these logs aren't the most user friendly. I mean, they're better than nothing. So 3.1, 2.1. So it did 1.1, 2.1. So that's three panels. Three panels. And then where's and then this is three panels. Oh wait, I missed something here. Sorry. This is okay, so that was three panels, okay. And three panels and come on. This definitely needs to be more user friendly. Three panels and what do you feel like I'm missing something? Okay, four panels, five panels, six panels, seven panels. So it's got two more panels. Is that right? Oh, we'll see. Oh, okay. Seven panels. And it is 7 panels. Plate solve succeeded. And it's still chugging along. So maybe a couple more panels? I would think it would be closer to done by now on this one. Very strange. Yeah, it just highlights to me that we need to, that there needs to be better feedback in the web app. That it's on a specific item, but it would also be good if it could have which panel it was on for a specific mosaic. Yeah, let me see. Plate solve. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at this. Is it 3, 2, 1, 3? Huh. Let me look at the app. The web interface to see if it's how it's doing, how it thinks it's doing. No, that's the wrong telescope. Yeah, it says it's running. And yeah, still. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'm going to let this run for a little bit longer, but I might wrap up the stream before too long. Just because I want to leave a little bit of, and I don't want to get completely drained tonight because I'm planning on doing, I'm pretty sure I'll do a long live stream tomorrow night because I really want to go for Andromeda. And I think that would be great. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning towards wrapping it up right now. I need to get something to drink, and I think, like I say, I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow. What other things? Yeah, so like if you haven't liked the video, please like it because it helps get it in front of other people who might want to see some of this. Also, I think it's in the description of the, I need to put it in the video description, but it's in the, I think it's in the channel description if you want to join the Discord server. And keep an eye out for the, I'll probably do a video about the conjunction again. I mean, I'll do a standalone video describing the conjunction, which is going to be in less than 2 weeks. So that's of Jupiter and Mars. So that'll be kind of neat. And yeah, I think I am going to leave it at that for the evening. So thank you for everybody for tuning in tonight, and appreciate it as always. I know Joe V and Cheap Astro and Red Angel and everybody else who's been on the stream. I appreciate it. And so yeah, I think I will leave it at that for the evening. And if I don't see you all tomorrow, have a good weekend and clear skies. Thanks. Bye. See you in the next one. Bye.